leave Lagos. 70%. So this talk about we are eating imported rice, is a Lagos-Abuja problem and Port Harcourt. But now that that's going down, you will now see Lagos people now are beginning, because fortunately we have improved on the quality of our Nigerian rice, and they are doing very well indeed. But there is a shortage, and there's going to be a shortage. And we're now faced with a situation where, unless you protect the local industry, the Indonesians, the Malaysians, the Thailand, the Indians of this world, and Vietnam will bring in their rice. As at now, I understand that because it keeps fluctuating, I understand that it's about 70% tariff, that's duty. But what rice do they bring in? The rice that these countries bring in are rice that they don't need in their strategic reserve. Some of them are 10 years old since harvest. Now, even this rice, they sent a letter in about 2 years ago to say they will be reducing the quantity of rice, or 3 years ago, quantity of rice they can export to Nigeria because their own population is rising. Now, talking about population, I don't know, we keep on saying we are 175 or whatever. I understand that from the Office of Federal Office of Statistics, Nigeria produces an average of about 13 to 15 babies every year. Simple arithmetic tells me that our population is rising at a faster rate than we are admitting. And for everybody that is in Nigeria, he or she needs to be fed. And the same level of inefficiency in the system has persisted. Why has this been so? It is because after 1960, or after independence, the young people, oil was discovered in Oloibiri. Since then, Nigeria has not looked back. Everybody started moving to the city centers. The same old people who were disadvantaged were the ones left in the villages and those who could not move to the big cities. Today, they are in their 50s and 60s, and age is catching up with them. They are getting more and more tired. They cannot produce as much. But what's most pervading of this is the fact that they are unable to acquire, to understand the modern technology, the improvements in the agricultural field. They have worked very, very hard. They go to the farm as early as 6 a.m. in the morning and come back in the evening and work under the sun. And unfortunately, their yield is still one of the worst in the world because there has been nobody to help them. Those of us who have access to the technology, to the internet, to seeing how to improve, we would rather go to work with an industry where rent-seeking is the order of the day. Having said all this, is there any hope? Of course there's a fantastic hope. And the hope is beginning to manifest itself. Like what you said today, let us light the candle and put it out there. These Nigerian farmers, these poor, disadvantaged people, produce about 130% of the food we eat. Unfortunately, about 60 to 65% of that food is lost. It never gets to your table. And they pay for it very dearly. You pay for only what you can buy in the market. 60 to 65% of that food that God has given us through these farmers never gets to your table. And because we have oil, we have the foreign exchange, we started importing to fill up the gap. That's no longer there. That's the first hope. That value chain That value chain. There is a concept in the minds of so many Nigerians that when you mention agriculture, you are talking about farming. No, that has changed. It is now called agribusiness. Farming was in the past synonymous with poverty, but that has changed. The hope here is that that value chain is challenging you and I. How do we meet this farmer at his farm gate with a refrigerated vehicle to buy his goods there? I give you an incident that happened recently in Kano. And I will use the example of the tomato. It's easier for all of us to understand. I'll give you the seasons. At about November, the price of a basket of tomato, which is about 50 to 55 kg, never consistent, a basket of tomato is about 23 to 27,000 naira per basket. 3 months, say February of the following year, that same basket is selling at my 12 market at 2,300, 500 naira. 2,500 naira. When, at that time, that was the season when I went into a farm near Kano. On the gate of the farm, I saw these baskets, you know, these woven baskets. I don't know whether you've seen them before. These woven baskets that they use. Before you can buy tomato from them, you need to buy that basket. Price of the basket, 400 naira. Okay? You buy a basket, 400 naira. You take it in there. The harvesters harvest it for you. How much are you paying for the tomato? 300 naira. Cost of transportation to Lagos, 900 naira. $900 plus 400, 1,003, plus the 300 for the tomato is what? 1,000. What is it? Good. Of the 1,006, how much went to this farmer? That is the question. How can we help? One of the ways to help. And why did the farmer sell it for 300 naira? The reason why he sold it for 300 naira is that it is ripened. You don't stop nature. Unless he sells it quickly, it will rot. So he's under blackmail that the system has created. If you and I were able to create a value chain, knowing when his tomato will be ripening, we carry a refrigerated vehicle or a properly or constructed vehicle, not in those baskets, and when there we crates are bought from him, he will gladly collect 500 naira, and you will still be able to make good profit on it. And you will transport that tomato to Lagos with more than 60% of what will have been destroyed in the transportation and logistics saved, and that will be your profit. I go back. What are the opportunities that we have in this value chain? In the various markets, you have situations where there's a lot more, excuse me. Okay then. All right. Okay. Yes, please.
Edition of the platform at the International Conference Center in Abuja, where resource persons from key sectors of the economy and the Vice President have been examining the untapped assets and opportunities in Nigeria that the youth must explore to break away from the hardships and poverty. About 4,000 participants have been in attendance at the platform, the global media event organized by the Covenant Christian Center to facilitate growth and development in Nigeria. And this has been brought to you by Channels Television. We'll now take you back to our Lagos studios for the regular programming.